Hello, I'm Erica, and I'm here today with my friend Camille, who publishes under the name C.E. Flores. Camille and I have been friends for a long time. We met as teenagers, and we were pen pals back then, and when that was a cool thing to do. And we were roommates in Nebraska, and we have been friends. Well, we won't have to calculate how many years. And we still are each other's biggest supporters, and we still stay in touch on a daily basis now. And I'm one of Camille's biggest fans, and she has been a big encourager in my life with helping me to have an appreciation for literature overall, and also with her recent books on herbs. She has helped me to get a love and fascination for natural medicines and things like that. And so we're going to talk with Camille a little bit today. And Camille, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? First, tell us a little bit about your education, where you went to school, what your degrees were for, and things like that.
Okay. Well, as you mentioned, we were roommates in Nebraska. So I went to the University of Nebraska. I have a bachelor's in science in education with specialties in English as a second language and English. And of course, that helped me in my transition to Mexico, which is where I am now. I've used my teaching skills to teach here in the United States and here. And so here I am.
Yeah. And I can vouch for how hard you worked putting yourself through school and working at the same time. And that was something that you were very passionate about. Can you tell us where you live now?
I live in central Mexico, in the state of Guanajuato, just next to the Michoacan border, which is almost exactly in the middle. The area that I live in is called La Yacata, and it's sort of an undeveloped village. It's not really a village yet. One day it will be a village.
And I'm sure your living there has influenced your books that you write.
Definitely.
So can you tell us about some of the titles of the books that you've published?
I'm going to pull up my screen here and share that with you so you can see what I got. Okay, and let's make it into full screen, maybe. Not sure how to make it full screen. There we go, page display. No, there it is, full screen mode. Okay, so let's take a look here. This is me. Okay, obviously there's my author picture. And the books that were most influenced by where I live are these three books. Okay, we have The Yacata Revolution, How Not to Buy a Piece of Heaven in Mexico. It was very difficult moving here. We don't have electricity, running water, or sewage. And so this little book is my efforts on getting those for the people that live here. Didn't work out really well, but it's an interesting read. And then Wascally Wabbits and Zombie Babies, Animal Antics South of the Border is about our animals. We have a sort of mini homestead. We've had lots of animals over the years. I'm hoping to have a second book about our animal stories coming out next year. So look forward to that.
Yeah.
And then the last one is A to Z Reasons Why La Yacata, which is where I live, is the place to be in any disaster, a prepper's guide to Mexico. So the situation that we found ourselves in ended up being more of a prepper lifestyle than we were looking for. And so we have that third book. So those are the ones that were influenced by my location. I also have been working on a series called A Woman's Survival Guide series. Moving here as a woman from the United States, there were a lot of cultural challenges. So since a lot of women have been moving with their husbands to Mexico and are not really prepared, this is why I was working on these particular books. I have the Survival Guide to Holidays in Mexico. The one I finished this year was A Woman's Survival Guide to Disasters in Rural Mexico, a framework for empowered living through crisis. A lot of things that you wouldn't expect are more difficult here in Mexico. That we don't, the country doesn't have the same infrastructure as other countries. So there are different things you need to do in order to protect yourself and your family.
So
And
you
then,
write sorry, so you write a lot of what I like about what you have shared so far is that you share your stories and your failures in hopes that other people can learn from your mistakes and don't have to go down that same path.
right, that's the idea.
Yeah.
Okay. Similarly, this one, A Woman's Guide to Mexican Healthcare. The healthcare system, we have a universal healthcare here in Mexico, but it's not easy to negotiate. So that book is designed with that in mind. And then making the adaptation to living in Mexico is challenging. So the final one right now in that series is a journal, a guide for making the most of your life in Mexico. It's really about attitude. You have to have a positive attitude and make the most of what you have in wherever you happen to be in Mexico.
Yeah.
So those are the survival guide series. I have more books. These 3 are designed for bloggers. I wrote these because I do have 2 blogs, and I wrote them as aids for me, basically. And then I thought I'd share them. So I use them for planning purposes. I have an international event and special occasion list and a 1-year blogging planner, which has places where you write and keep track of things. And then the last one was this year, book weaving, how to create a story tapestry from your blog threads. And you and I are supposed to be working on something along that lines.
Yes, we are working our way through that. So these are great books for people who have a blog that are looking for ideas or ways to turn their blog into a keepsake, into a book.
Right. Then, since I did so many books, I decided to share that information in these 3 books. These books are designed for writers on how to create their book, market their book, and use Amazon. Amazon is really nice for self-publishers, for independent authors, but it is complicated. There are a lot of ins and outs that you need to know in order to get your book noticed. So these 3 books are along those lines for writers specifically.
Okay.
Then I have a book specifically for people that are living in exile. A lot of women that come with their deported spouses, again, as I mentioned, find it difficult to manage here. And so there are tips on how to do this. I think you've read this one, yes. And then I'm also a co-author on 2 books. The first one is Playing Tourist in Mexico. I wrote this along with other women who have traveled, live in different parts of Mexico, about tourist attractions or off the main road type of interesting places to visit in Mexico. And the second one, The History of Morenon for Kids, is illustrated by Clau Guses. And the actual physical book will be coming out this month. And so it's almost ready. It is a coloring book with the history of the town near where we live included in it. So that one's almost ready.
Yeah, I got to see a sneak peek of that. It's looking good.
Now, the books that I've been working on most recently are these 2, the herbal remedies books. And this is where you became the mushroom lady of Tennessee.
Right. Right.
So the first one is Exploring Traditional Herbal Remedies in Mexico. I'm working on volume 2 of that. Hopefully by the end of next year, there'll be another volume to go with that. And then the second one is Traditional Mexican Cold and Flu Remedies, which is a small book right now. I'm hoping to add to it, but it's interesting. So
yes. So a lot of your writing has evolved from, these would be things that you wish you had when you had first started on your journey going to Mexico.
Right. Yes.
So your qualifications really come from your own life experiences. And what kind of research have you done for these herbal books?
Well, the herbal books, not only do I talk to people in the area about how different plants are used. That's how I usually start a plant investigation, I guess I could say. Someone will be picking plants and I'll ask, what are you doing with that? Oh, I'm going to make a cough medicine out of this. And I'm like, oh, really? And so then I do research on the medicinal properties, if it's been studied, if it is used in other countries, for example, or if scientists have actually looked at its effectiveness on treating these certain things. Recently, there have been an upsurge of studies of plants, how they can benefit people, and I've been able to access a lot of those scientific papers and use those to either prove or disprove the traditional use here in Mexico.
So these are remedies that you use as your first line of defense if someone in your family becomes ill.
Right. Yes.
Yes. So what kind of things were you surprised to learn in your research?
Specifically with the herbal things, a lot of plants that I'd never considered as herbal plants are, and I would say that most plants here in our specific area have a medicinal value. I just have to find someone who knows what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's been the most interesting.
And I want, excuse me, and I wanted to say on your cold and flu remedies, I really enjoyed how that you had the ingredients, more than one name for the ingredients. So no matter where you're located, you'll be able to understand the ingredients and be able to use them for remedies for you and your family. And you're offering this to people who are watching this?
Yes, it is free on my website, and you just have to search for it.
Right.
It's there.
Yes, it's a great resource. I really enjoy it. So you're working on some new things. Can you tell us about that?
Next year, I hope to have the volume 2 of the Exploring Traditional Herbal Remedies ready. I'm also going to expand on this cold and flu remedies. I know I haven't, we're entering cold and flu season right now, so I'm hoping to do a lot of hands-on experiment and investigation with how other people are using plants in the area. I'm also hoping to get finished with the first of the A Woman's Guide series, which would be moving to Mexico. So the actual transition, things that I wish I would have done before I left the country. Banking, of course, is an issue now, and you and I have worked on that.
Right.
So suggestions on when someone knows they're moving to Mexico, things they should do before and to make the initial transition easier. That's the book I'm working on.
Yeah, so things haven't come necessarily easy on your journeys, but you are making the best of it and sharing your missteps and mistakes and experiences so that others can learn from it and have an easier time in a similar situation.
Mm-hmm.
So where can people find more information about you and your websites and your books to purchase?
All right, glad you asked. I have 2 websites. The website that is focused on our lifestyle, our off-grid homestead here in Mexico is survivingmexico.com. And then author, blogger type topics are found at ceflores.com. All my books are on Amazon, except for the herbal flu and cold and flu remedy, which is only on my website. But you can find them if you look at Amazon.com, author Surviving Mexico. I thought that would be easier to remember than C.E. Flores.
Right. Yeah. So great. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us today?
Not sure.
What about any kind of social media? People can find you on social media?
You can find me on Facebook, Surviving Mexico. I also have an Instagram account, Surviving Mexico. That one has a lot of pictures of some of the plants I've done research on and some I'm still working on. So there's a lot of nature pictures on Instagram. I have Twitter. I don't usually use a lot of Twitter, but the Twitter is there, and Pinterest as well. Surviving Mexico would be another way to find me there.
Okay. Well, we thank you for your time, Camille. We've enjoyed talking with you. And I hope that the people will reach out and connect. And I really enjoy your stories. And sometimes they're funny and sometimes they're sad, but we all are able to enjoy the things that you share with us. And you've benefited my life so much by sharing your knowledge and all your research. So thank you.